What's up, everyone? Welcome to our inaugural episode of the Paranormal Activity in Review, where we sit down each and every week and review not only the main series of Paranormal Activity, but all of the spin offs here in the Halloween and fall season for your enjoyment. If you like the sound of that, give this video a thumbs up. Head over to youtube.com/Save Point Vids. Hit the subscribe button. And if you don't want to watch it, you can always find us on all podcast services. All you have to do is search the Save Point Vids podcast, and you'll be able to check us out there. I am Josh. I just realized I didn't introduce myself. As always, I've got Leo and Sean here. How you guys doing tonight?
Not too bad.
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good.
Good. So let's jump right in. So Paranormal Activity, I've got some notes here, was released on September 25th, 2009 for a budget of a whopping $15,000 with a worldwide gross of $193 million, giving it the title of most successful film of all time based on its return on investment. So basically what I was reading is that obviously this movie was made entirely with a handheld camera to give it that found footage feel. But what happened is actually, let me pull it up here because I want to make sure I get this right. And it was written, produced, and directed by Oren Peli, who basically had this idea. And Leo, we were saying before we started recording, took a lot of the cues of the found footage. I don't know if they were pioneers, but the Blair Witch Project that came out before this, and kind of obviously use that to another degree to obviously great success. Let me see here. There was something that I wanted to share with you guys. Basically this movie was screened at 2007 Screamfest Horror Film Festival, where it impressed a bunch of like producers and execs from different production companies, or distributing companies, I guess, like Miramax and DreamWorks and things like that. But basically what happened was that the movie was picked up by DreamWorks, and Steven Spielberg specifically was very impressed by what he saw. So they offered to buy the rights to the movie and to the sequels for $350,000. What they wanted to do is they actually wanted to take what he had shown off at the film festival and basically redo it with but like a bigger budget to, basically put the Hollywood spin on it. And what happened is that Oren Peli, the director, said, before you do that, I want to screen this to public audiences first, just to see, because I think I have something here. And they said, okay, but after that, then we're going to basically take your idea, but then, do our thing with it. And what happened is that they started screening it to public audiences, and people started walking out, and they thought, or Oren Peli originally thought it was because it was bombing and people didn't resonate with it. Turns out people were too scared. And that's when Steven Spielberg knew that they couldn't mess with it, because they really did have something special. And so if you notice when the movie started, there's no like opening credits. Obviously it gives you like the little blurb, not a scroll, but about how this movie was found by the San Diego Police Department. And even at the end, there's really no credits afterwards to really hammer home that feel. But then, because obviously he was right. And so that was pretty cool that, he was able to kind of like stick to his guns a little bit and say, hey, before you mess with it, let's test it out. And then even like the big shots like Steven Spielberg realized that he was onto something special, and kind of left it alone as is. But now that we kind of got that out of the way, what did you guys think of the movie itself? Kind of your top level
I think if Hollywood got a hold of that, I don't think it would have done as well as it is.
I agree.
Yeah, pretty much like your point. If the reason it was so scary is because it was so stripped back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
there was no like background music to it.
yeah, it was just very.
It was everything.
It
that was
is
on
what
set.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it in. I don't remember if I went to go see it in theaters, but it was soon after.
Right.
And I thought it was really scary the first time I watched it.
I did too. I remember.
It's more like a tension thing. It's more like the because every night something's gonna happen.
Right.
It was more like the build up was scary.
Right.
Watching it again last night, I thought it was kind of hilarious. It's not. It is not. If you've seen it more than once, it's not scary ever again.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you know where
it's more of a shock factor that gets that movie.
Right.
If you've seen it, if you've seen it a couple times, you're not gonna get that shock factor.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the ones further because I think I've seen the first two, and I haven't seen anything because there's 4 or 5. Am I right?
4 or 5.
Yeah. So there's I haven't seen the majority of them, so I am interested to kind of check that out. But yeah, I think you're right in that if you know what's coming, and that's true of I think just about every horror movie that the tension.
Not The Exorcist. The Exorcist is scary.
I haven't seen that
every time you watch
15 years. But well, let me say this then. So for the majority of movies like this, if you know what the twist is or you know how the scene plays out, it does kind of take the scare factor out of it. But with that said, though, I am really impressed of the way they are able to build tension by just having a stationary camera pointed in the bedroom, and I was reading after I got done watching it, I was on Vudu, and at the bottom it kind of gives you excerpts from different reviews, and I was reading the one by Roger Ebert, and he said you're going to spend something like this. You're going to spend a lot of time staring at a screen where nothing's happening, but you're never going to be bored doing it. And I think that kind of sums it up perfectly, especially obviously the first time that you watch it, because you are just waiting for something to crash or creak or, the time where the demon walks by the door and you kind of see the shadow cast on the wall. And I think
it's not just that, but if you see it a couple times, you'll notice that let me put the right here just for now.
Right.
Yeah.
The camera always just happens to be set up in a perfect spot,
Oh, for sure. But let me pull up some other quick things here. It was shot in 10 days in the editing and special effects. The few well, I wouldn't say few. There were, things got progressively worse for Katie, the special effects did kind of increase. They had obviously at the very end where she threw Micah against the camera, but even the walking through the baby powder and the footprints appearing on the floor. But all of the editing and special effects were done in that same time frame. So basically, from front to back, this movie was done in 10 days.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't really big special effects.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that baby powder thing was probably like $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Baby powder.
And there was no real script to speak of. Instead, the actors were given the situation and the story outlines, and they were basically told to fill in the blanks with their own dialogue, which I think, because this is my third time seeing it. I know I've seen it. I know I saw it once in theaters, and I've seen it once before then, but kind of trying to watch it with a more critical eye. Some of the dialogue, you can tell they're ad-libbing it. But
yeah, kind of hamming it up.
And some of it's like pretty cheesy, especially on this watch through.
I think I'd rather have that than just have it scripted.
Yeah.
For that type of movie. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Because those home movies are going to be cheesy. So
now, let me ask you guys this, because I was thinking about this while I was watching it. What do you guys what am I trying to say? Do you guys like the, or what do you like more? Kind of what do you gravitate more towards more? Do you like the found footage stuff, or do you want like a more traditionally produced and shot and directed, uh, like horror
it just
movie?
depends on the movie.
Depends on
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah, it does depend on the movie. If I had to like choose,
Mm-hmm.
I think something uh more traditional
Mm-hmm.
It's
can
done
be
well.
scary. Yeah, because I always go back to The Exorcist. That'll always be a scary movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've seen enough found footage movies, they stop being scary. Period.
Yeah.
Like the sequels. We'll get to those another day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can really set a tone and like really suck people into an environment more traditionally, I think, than with found footage.
Yeah.
I think found footage is more shock value
Yeah, definitely.
than atmosphere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree on one hand. I think with you, Sean, and that, yeah, if I had to pick, it would probably be more traditional movies. Um, on the other though, on the other
Cat's
though,
going crazy.
especially with like low budget stuff, if they, I think it's more impressive if they are able to make you scared, and like I said at the beginning, if it's just a camera pointed at a bed and they're somehow able to make that scary, I think that is kind of an achievement that a lot of scary movies, even with like big budgets, depending on how it's shot and edited and things like that and how it's produced, aren't able to achieve. Doesn't mean that I want to watch a found footage movie every single time, because I don't think that's the case at all.
No.
But I
Yeah, if it came out all the time, then
mean, it would
No,
lose
it
its appeal. It would lose
Like,
its charm.
especially after Paranormal Activity, there was like 1 or 2 or 3 like every Halloween. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got the
And
knockoffs.
it got
I
played
was
out
searching
really
for
quick.
Paranormal Activity, and there was like Paranormal Entity. There was Paranormal.
Yeah.
Shit. There was another one. Yeah, it's like a complete, like, obviously like a knockoff. But did you guys have any scenes, whether obviously this time around or even remembering back to the first time you watched it? Did you guys have any scenes that kind of stood out as memorable for you?
probably just her standing on, a, right above him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
tough.
that's a creepy
Staring at her.
image.
That's
Just like staring,
Yeah,
and then
for me, it was
the time fast forward. You can see the time fast forward, like the video.
Yeah.
She's there for like 2 hours. Yeah, there was that one was particularly scary. There was, what was the other one? When Mika, I hate that name. Mika,
you're a trip.
I think there's a singer named Mika too.
There is.
Yeah.
where he has to walk outside and she's sitting on the back porch. I remember distinctly the first time watching that, and he's like walking through the house, and of course he has to grab the camera.
Oh yeah.
But and then he sees the back door open, and he's like painting the camera around, trying to use the light on the camera, and you kind of see her shadow like out there on the swing at the end of the porch. I remember that one being pretty scary. But I really remember seeing this on opening night, and it was, from what I remember, it was a packed theater, or it was fairly full, or opening weekend. I don't know if it was opening night. But I think that really adds to the experience, is having that shared collective, everybody's getting scared, and everybody's like holding their breath and is on edge. It'll be nice if we can ever go back to movie theaters again, now that I think about it. So who knows?
They might be DOA.
Yeah.
Not Regal. Regal just shut down.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Like I said, it really wasn't a deep movie in terms of its plot. I mean, as soon as the movie starts, they already have a history of this happening, which is why he gets the camera. By the way, Mika he's a fucking giant dick. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I just this time around.
Not even that. He's just like a moron, man. He's like the stupidest. Yeah, dude. That's why it's so funny. Is just watching him, and like, every
Like
wrong decision. Every decision he makes is the
the
wrong
wrong one.
decision and the exact
Oh
opposite
yeah.
that a normal
Don't
person
get a
would do.
Ouija board, and then the next scene is, oh, look what I got from my friend. It's like,
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that dude was yeah, he kind of deserved what he got.
yeah.
What he got in
I'm
the end.
interested though. I mean, what I think what really makes a horror movie good though is obviously it scares, but if you have characters that you just, I mean, it's not really horror movies specifically, but just characters that you care about and you care about what happens to them. I am interested to see, because if I remember correctly, no spoilers for me, because like I said, I haven't seen more than the first two. I think that there's some type of bigger, because they all connect pretty intimately, don't they? They're all like, there's like a
Yeah, there was one spinoff. I don't remember if it connected to the main ones that much.
right,
Maybe a little bit.
but I
I
know
forget.
that
It's like the Mexican version.
I don't know if she comes back, but I know that Katie is this Katie from the first one, maybe not appears, but I know she's like relevant in the other ones, and that it's somehow, yeah, it's somehow all connected, and I think it has something to do with the sister from what it sounded like they were trying to set up in this one. I can't remember the details.
Yeah, you see the photo and you see it again.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like it ends up getting like a little much. So
Does
like
it?
obviously very Hollywood
Sure.
produced.
Right.
Since that first one was so successful, I think if they would have just made like the whole series like anthologies in the vein of the first one, but maybe ramped up a little bit,
Right.
different settings and stuff, I think it would have maybe it would have lasted a little bit longer.
Well, here,
But that series kind of burned out pretty fast.
yeah, I think there was, like you were kind of pointing to earlier, I think there's only so much they can do with like a found footage. You know,
Yeah.
how many movies can you make with a camera sitting on a tripod, waiting for something to jump out
Right.
at you?
You got to always have a reason for the cameras too, and sometimes there's just no good reason.
Unless you just carry around a GoPro. All the
I
time.
know, right?
So I will share with you guys. I don't know if you guys read anything about it. There was a couple alternate endings that obviously didn't make it into the theatrical cut of the film. But once Paramount acquired it, it was Paramount. Never mind. I thought it was.
You said DreamWorks.
I thought
Yeah.
it was DreamWorks. The theatrical release was delayed indefinitely because Paramount had put all DreamWorks productions on hold. That's right. So Paramount owns DreamWorks,
Nah.
I think. But anyway, so once Paramount acquired the film, the original ending was scrapped, and the two new endings were developed for the film, one of them being the one seen in theaters. The scrapped ending was shown only at one public viewing. So the original ending that was scrapped goes like this. So at the end, Katie returns to the bedroom, sits down against the bed with the knife in her hand, rocking back and forth for almost 2 days straight. Her friend Amber calls and leaves a message saying that she is concerned because she hasn't heard from Katie or Mika. Amber eventually comes looking for her, but when she enters the house, she is heard screaming after seeing Mika's body. The creature possessing Katie leaves her body, scaring Amber out of the house before returning to Katie, who resumes rocking back and forth. Police officers then arrive at the house about an hour and a half later and discover his body as well. They call to Katie, who wakes from her catatonic state and seems confused. Katie comes out of the bedroom with the knife still in her hand. The police officers ask her to drop the knife. Following a heated confrontation, a door behind one of the police officers slams shut, startling one of the officers, which causes him to shoot Katie, killing her. The film ends with the police investigating the area and finding nothing but the camera that is still running. So that was the original ending that was cut. Then they have a studio
About, like
ending.
30 or 40 minutes of the movie.
That's that's a Return of the King size ending. It seems like.
So the studio ending, available as an alternate ending in the home release of the film, Katie returns to the bedroom after the screaming and the noise of her and Mika struggling downstairs. She is holding a knife covered in blood. She closes and locks the bedroom door. Katie walks over and smiles at the camera before slitting her own throat. Then the screen fades to black.
I like the theatrical ending better.
Right.
Yeah, I think the one that they went with was the best one, and obviously it sets it up good for sequels.
I think that's why they changed it like that.
Mhm.
Obviously, is that they wanted. But then the unfilmed ending. So this one was concepted and talked about, obviously, but wasn't filmed. Was written in which a possessed Katie would corner Mika and bludgeon him to death with his own camera, while viewers watch from the camera's point of view.
I would have loved that. I want that ending, actually.
This version was deemed too complicated and too brutal to shoot, and so the idea was scrapped.
Compared to the first one, that would have been great.
So yeah, like I said, there's not a whole lot more to go over, but overall, what did you guys think of the film? I know I asked you that at the beginning, but do you guys have any like closing thoughts?
No, it's good the first time around, maybe even the second time around, but after that,
it was good when it was released.
It kind of turns into a comedy.
Yeah,
which you kind of say that for a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, some of the Nightmare on Elm Streets now, if you watch them back, you're like,
yeah.
why was I scared of this?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of movies that are like that. Well, I guess that's it, guys. So for now, because we are reviewing and ranking these, Paranormal Activity 1 will be number 1 on our list of the Paranormal Activity movies. I was trying to think of something else that we could rank for this movie, but I don't think there's too much else we could.
I mean, I was like scared how scary this is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that. So we'll do scare factor, and the movie overall. And then I kind of want to do like I see, but the thing is, I don't know how the other movies play out, but I wanted to do like. Because, with horror movies, there's always that one character that's always just like you said, like a fucking idiot. And I kind of want to do like dumbest character.
Do that,
but I don't know if there's other characters that are like that in the later movies. So
I'm pretty sure there are.
There always are.
I mean, it's a horror movie.
Perfect. So then we're gonna do dumb characters. So right now, Mika is number 1 on the dumbest character list. What'd you say?
There's at least one per scary movie.
Yeah. So we'll do that then. So we'll do like dumbest characters, scare factor, and then the movie overall. So right now, obviously, there's not much to rank because it is the first movie in the series. So stay tuned for next week when we do Paranormal Activity 2. We will see how that plays out. Do you guys have any last minute closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Nah, the demonologist was kind of a bitch, but other than that.
We forgot about the demonologist. Yeah, he was. He walked in that second time and he's like, "Oh no, I can't be in here." He's like, "They don't like it."
I was like, "All right, I'm gonna split."
He didn't have a lot of screen time, so he doesn't get that vote.
No, I know.
And then we never saw the other guy, did we? Remember the demonologist? No, it wasn't the demonologist. It was this. Was it the psychic? The psychic gave them the number for the demonologist. And then, and then I think Katie tries to call him. And
he was maybe like 1 or 2 scenes.
Yeah. But anyway, so he was kind of a bitch.
Just had to add that. Yeah. Bitch.
But anyway, guys, there you have it. That is our review on the first Paranormal Activity. But let us know down in the comments below if you guys thought it was scary, if you guys remember seeing it in theaters, what's your thoughts and opinions on it all are. And like I said, as always, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you are new around here, and check us out on all podcast services. And until next time, you guys stay safe. All right. When's Chase getting back?
Should be coming in very soon.
All right.